Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature as it's drying up later this week and turning quite a bit colder with easterly winds starting to come in. We'll then have a look at the longer range, look at the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the Ensembles, so looking highly likely the start of December is cold, potentially turning very cold in around the 10th of December, in around that sort of point, a few days either side, and could turn very wintry as well. We're seeing repeated patterns of extremely blocked weather with very cold air masses potentially coming out of the north and the east. Again, haven't completely deciphered it yet, but continuing to look very cold and very blocked. These are some of the most cold charts we've seen really in December since December 2010, where we saw repeated bouts of wintry weather. Now again, we might not see anything similar to that, but at least the model output at the moment is similar. So if you are looking forward to a mild December, it looks like this year it could be really quite cold. So we'll run through the longer range, have a look at that in a minute. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in description. So you start on the live radar, you can see a lot of showers around in the west and the south, across parts of Wales, southwest England, down into the southeast as well. Those should sort of dissipate away over the course of today. As I'm recording this around midday, you can see the temperatures are not too bad. Again, generally around average in the south, around that sort of 10, 11, 12 degree mark. Further northwards, a little bit colder as well. Now, if you go over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, you can see through this afternoon those showers will slowly peter away through the evening and should turn drier overnight. As we head into Tuesday, you can see again, still dry. Showers trying to push in, but by this time, higher pressure is taking over. And beyond that, you see the precipitation tries to push in from the west, but it's this high pressure, the blocking, that is holding it at bay. And we are starting to see the wind veering from the east by the first day of December. Again, nothing ridiculously cold and no snow on this chart yet, but it would feel really chilly at the surface. Look at the upper air temperatures, the -5 isotherms getting pushed in, the dew points are dropping down towards freezing. Really quite cold conditions coming later this week. Now, if you look at the surface temperatures for this, you can see over the course of this afternoon, temperatures again peaking around that 10-11 degree mark in the south, more like 8 or 9 degrees in the north. As we head into Tuesday, overnight temperatures down towards the mid to low single digits, and Tuesday afternoon, look at that, 7 or 8 degrees, so starting to chill down. If you have a look at that on to Tuesday evening, you see temperatures once again starting to lower down towards the low to mid single digits. And by Wednesday afternoon, look at that, still widely mid to high single digits, but it is reducing. It is going to be turning much colder. And as we start December, most areas wake up to temperatures in around sort of mid-single digits towards parts of Ireland, with thicker cloud hold those temperatures up. And by Thursday afternoon, look at that, temperatures widely 6 to 8 degrees average to starting to get below average now. And as we head towards the 2nd of December, overnight temperatures down towards the mid to low single digits, and by Friday afternoon, look at that, widely 5 to 7 degrees. Again, nothing ridiculously cold, but feeling really chilly with the wind chill out there, and those thermometer temperatures are well below average for this time of year, and into the early hours Saturday, cold once again down to the mid to low single digits. Again, wherever we escape the cloud, we will see frosts, but again, all depending on cloud amounts, which can change quite a bit in the next 5 days. But this is sort of round one, these next few days of easterly winds, nothing particularly cold, just generally a continental flow, nothing ridiculously cold. It's that longer range around the day 10 mark where we could see something quite exceptional. If we go over to the GFS now and see what that is showing over the next few weeks, you can see westerly winds trying to push in at the moment, but high pressure coming in, and we see that easterly flow later this week. Again, quite a slack easterly flow and nothing ridiculously cold getting pulled in, but around the -5 isotherm potentially, and towards the weekend it could turn really quite chilly. Beyond that, high pressure sits to our north. We could actually drag a brief southeasterly in for the time, but the blocking to our north continues and it moves more towards Greenland, opening up the door for stronger and colder easterly winds to be pushing in right in the extended range, and that would turn us bitterly cold. Now, if you run it back all the way to this week and have a look at these initial easterly winds that are coming in over the course of the next few days, you can see, again, nothing too exceptional. Maybe the -5 line getting through in a few areas, but generally not too cold. We do generate some more cold towards the weekend, and that could turn temperatures lower and could produce some winteriness. But it's really beyond that, around the day 7 to day 10 time frame. We see a brief milder spell there for a time with southeasterly winds, but watch all that cold air flood out of Scandinavia towards the UK. And look at that, the -10 isoform engulfs us, bitterly cold in the longer range. We remain very cold and very snowy as well. Look at that, 12 degrees below average, bitterly cold weather coming in from the east. Look at the potential equivalent temperature, bitterly cold once again, and this would plunge us into the freezer around that 10th of December mark. Again, this is extended range, but we're seeing strong model consensus, including the operational runs and the ensemble runs as well. Now, if we do go to the GEM, see how that does compare to day 10. Again, westerly wind trying to push in at the moment, but higher pressure taking over and trying to nudge us that easterly wind later this week. Again, nothing too ridiculous, but at day 10 you can see the blocking, it's transferring towards Greenland, and you'd expect to see cold air plunging out of Scandinavia in the near future, similar to the GFS. Slightly different, blocking more scattered, which means the air masses are not moving as quickly, so we're a few days behind the GFS here, but it's a similar pattern. The blocking move towards Greenland could be plunging us bitterly cold towards the middle of the month. But again, this still would be cold, even though it doesn't go bitterly cold. It's still below average, frosts and fog and chilly conditions generally. If we do go to the ECMWF, see how that does compare to day 10. Again, the westerly wind trying to push in at the moment, high pressure moving in on top of us, and we're trying to pull in easterly winds again. Initially cold, but nothing ridiculously cold. And as we head towards day 10, look at that bitterly cold air plunging out of the Arctic. Higher pressure building up towards Greenland, and look at that air mass plunging in on the western side of that lower pressure, and that would be spinning around. Again, if we push that lower pressure slightly further eastwards, we'd be plunged more into the cold air, but of course we're still getting into that cold air in the next few days after that, as bitterly cold air is moving out, and we've got a lot of blocking to our north. So yeah, again, looking very cold and very blocked. The GFS is definitely the coldest and most blocked and most sort of wintry chart, but all three of them are showing blocked, cold conditions as we head into the first 10 days of December. If we do finish, we'll have a look at the ensembles first. The GFS, you can see generally well below average over the next couple of weeks. A lot more scatter beyond the 5th and 6th of December. We could see a brief rise in temperatures, but still some staying below average. And it's in the longer range where we see a lot of ensemble members getting towards that -5 to -10 degree range. You can see the GFS operational run there, alongside maybe 3 or 4 other runs going really bitterly quite cold, and that does continue into the longer range. If we do finish, but also have a look at the dew points as well, again all trending towards freezing in the longer term, which is showing the potential for wintry precipitation increasing around that sort of 5th, 6th of December point. The 2-meter temperatures all plunging down. So, next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see many areas getting much above 5 degrees and freezing overnight. And again, if we compare it to the ECMWF ensemble members, once again, very cold over the course of the next few weeks. A brief bump in upper air temperatures around the 5th, 6th of December, but we could see that plunge again around the 10th of December, where it could go, once again, very cold and potentially very wintry. Got to keep an eye on this over the next sort of week or so as we head into December, but for the time being it's turning a lot colder, potentially quite frosty towards the end of this week, and the real wintry potential could be arriving in around a week to 10 days time. Good model consensus at the moment, but we'll have to continue to see that and decipher exactly where that high pressure block goes towards Greenland to see how cold that air does get and whether we see a lot of low pressure associated with it, which could increase the snow risks. So as I said at the start of the video, if you're looking for a milder, wetter December, doesn't look likely we're going to be seeing that this year, at least for the first half. It looks really quite cold, really quite blocked, but potentially the coldest December we've had since 2010. But once again, we'll have to see exactly how it does play out. There is, of course, a good 4.5 weeks of December, so we'll have to see what happens, especially as we head towards the second half, towards the Christmas point. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.